Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I wish I were more interesting, had something cool to show off or talk about in a group of friends? Or maybe to impress that girl who doesn't even notice you? At least that was my case, and, well, it didn't work out. But hey, this video isn't about that. The truth is, learning new skills makes you a more interesting person, not just for others, but for yourself, and maybe even for that amazing girl. If you're like most people, you probably think that learning a new skill sounds cool and exciting, but you never actually manage to do it and end up giving up. Do you know why you think like that? Because, my friend, you're a loser. Ready to change that? Aren't you tired of being that loser? Relax, I'm just kidding. I only wanted to push you to rock bottom so I could show you how to climb back up. So maybe you've always wanted to play a song on the guitar, learn a language that makes you stand out in conversations, or even cook something that surprises everyone. But as soon as the idea pops up, that little voice in the back of your head goes, "This isn't for me. It must be way too complicated." And before you even try, you give up. We all fall into this trap. We look at people who are already good at something and think it's impossible to reach their level. Even worse, sometimes you don't even start because you're afraid of messing up or looking silly. It's like the pressure to be perfect right from the beginning takes all the fun out of learning. And honestly, at first things can be boring and frustrating. You can't even play a single song, can't say a basic sentence in another language, or even draw your favorite character. It's not even fun for you at that point. I know you've probably heard this a million times as a motivational phrase, but no one is born knowing everything. When we learn to walk, we fall over and over again. And here's something even more fascinating. Even artificial intelligence learns the same way we do, by making mistakes and adjusting. You know those algorithms that drive cars autonomously or recognize your voice on your phone? They only work because they were programmed to fail and improve. When an AI learns to identify images, for example, it starts by making millions of mistakes. It confuses cats with dogs, apples with tomatoes, and so on. But with every mistake, it adjusts, tries again, and gets better. What does that teach us? That mistakes are a natural part of learning. It's normal to mess up at the start. The key is, just like AI, to adjust and keep going. After all, learning is a process, and making mistakes isn't just allowed, it's essential. And what makes it all so satisfying is overcoming those mistakes when you finally take your first steps. That's when everything starts to feel fun. Remember when you were learning to play video games and it was so frustrating when you couldn't beat a level? Then your older brother would step in and beat it for you. Eventually, you got better, started clearing the levels yourself, and felt incredible. And you know what's even more curious? When you allow yourself to start and make mistakes, the process of learning something new stops being scary and can actually feel kinda easy. Because in the end, it's not about being the best right away. It's about enjoying the process, giving yourself the chance to be a beginner, experimenting, and having fun along the way. You feel so satisfied when you manage to do something with your newfound skill. Remember when you first started driving? Everything felt scary at first, but once you learned, you wanted to take the car everywhere. Now, let me share something that might completely change how you think about learning. It's called the principle of the first 20 hours. Studies show that for many skills, you only need 20 hours of focused practice to become functional. And what does that mean? It's not about mastering the skill, but about being able to do the basics with confidence, enough to impress others or truly enjoy what you're learning. Now think about it. 20 hours is less than 1 hour a day for a month. It's like swapping the time you spend scrolling through your phone for a little session dedicated to learning something new. Or even better, spend an hour practicing what you want to learn, then relax and scroll through your feed afterward. Even better if it's to watch my channel, subscribe, like, and share. So cool. Did you know that people who watch my channel are 98.7% more likely to succeed in life? There's no study to back that up yet because the channel is new, and I have 0 subscribers. But with your help, we can make that study happen. Anyway, back to the topic, it seems more doable now, right? You just need to put a little consistent, focused energy into it without distractions. Imagine learning to play your first song on the guitar, say basic phrases in a new language, or cook that dish you've always wanted, all within a few weeks. It doesn't sound so impossible anymore, does it? The key is to take that first step and commit to small, consistent doses of daily learning. Learning something new might seem complicated, but it's just a matter of simplifying the process. Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, break it down into simple, manageable steps. Think of a new skill like a dark hallway. You're holding a torch at one end, and your goal is to reach the other. You can't see everything at once, so you don't get overwhelmed. You discover things little by little as you learn. If it's the guitar, start by getting to know the instrument. Watch some acoustic performances, spark your interest in music, and learn how to hold it properly. Once you have a guitar, learn how to tune it. Pick a simple song you like and focus on that. Eventually you'll learn more songs, maybe even solos, than improvisation. Who knows, you might even write your own music or start singing too. There are endless possibilities, but the most important thing is the first steps. Without them, none of the other possibilities exist. We tend to want to learn everything at once, but that only leads to frustration. Instead of trying to learn multiple songs or master a whole guitar solo, focus on nailing one simple song. With cooking, instead of tackling multiple dishes with different ingredients, start with the basics. Learn one good dish and build from there. By mastering one thing at a time, your progress becomes faster and more consistent. This way, you'll also have fun learning, experiencing that same excitement as taking your first steps. Okay, maybe you don't remember that feeling, but I guarantee you were thrilled. Just ask your parents. If learning becomes a boring chore, you'll give up halfway through. So to make it enjoyable, pick songs you love, recipes that excite you, or topics that genuinely interest you. Fun is what keeps the motivation alive. Follow these steps, and you'll realize learning a new skill is actually pretty easy. Just start small, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. Our brains are incredible machines. When you try something new, you're literally creating pathways that didn't exist before. These pathways are called neural connections. Every time you practice, those connections get stronger, like carving a trail in a field, until it becomes a well-paved road. That's why everything feels strange and difficult at first, but over time, it flows naturally. There's also an interesting technique called interleaved practice. Instead of focusing on one skill for a long time, you alternate between learning different things. For instance, one day you play guitar and the next you study a new language. This alternation helps your brain retain information more efficiently. It's like giving your mind a break to process what you've learned, improving long-term performance. So, when learning something new, remember, your brain loves challenges. It's wired to adapt, create new connections, and become more efficient. You just have to keep trying. Remember, you've got someone to show off your new skills to, and who knows, maybe you'll win them over. You need to stop thinking you're incapable of something or that learning a new skill isn't your thing. You know that saying about how there's always someone younger than you who's better at what you do? It's true. But there's also probably an elderly person somewhere learning something today that you haven't even started yet. So stop with the pessimistic excuses. You can learn anything you want. Will you be the best? Probably not, my friend. But it's not about that. Still, if that's your goal, I believe in you. So, stop being discouraged. Look in the mirror and tell me, who's my champion? Come on, comment down below. Who's my champion? You're my champion! Whisper to yourself, I can do this. Now that I've finished my cheap motivational speech, here's what I recommend after watching this video. Like, subscribe to the channel and comment on what you really want to learn. Block some time in your schedule each day or week to study that skill and just start. Once you start, make mistakes, mess up, but keep going. That's what learning is all about. After a month of working on that skill, come back to your comment and let me know how it's going. You'll see, learning a new skill is kind of easy.